Alright, is my mic working? Yes, sir, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy GZTV back with another video. We have our 2 YouTube uploads for the day. I know I'm wearing like the same clothes, but I showered last night, then made the videos for last night, so I'm still wearing the same clothes. GZTV back with another one. We have The Walking Dead, the 9th episode of Season 3, The Suicide King. We're going to do this. We're going to talk about Dahmer. I'm probably going to do some homework, and then we will be doing a Twitch stream where we listen to new music, and we may or may not have a 2K stream tonight. I'm not really sure. I might just take a break tonight and just chill. But here we go. Plot and critical reception. You guys know how this goes. Brothers Daryl and Merle are forced to fight to the death for the entertainment of the residents of Woodbury, despite Andrea's protest to the governor. You know, obviously the governor and Andrea are together now, and she's thinking that her decision is going to help influence the governor, but the governor rules over, and he's kind of entering his villainous arc in this episode. Look at that speck going across the screen. That was kind of cool. It's like a fucking filter. As they wrestle, Merle discreetly tells Daryl to follow his lead as walkers are herded into the arena, so pretty much scripting it so they don't actually kill each other. They're brothers. They love each other way too much to even think about killing each other, but yeah. Suddenly, Rick and Maggie appear, throw a smoke bomb into the arena, and help Daryl and Merle to escape through a breach in Woodbury's fence. So they get out, and there's a breach in the fence, and that's going to lead to further problems for Woodbury going forward, and up until, this group got introduced into Woodbury's life, they were a very peaceful, innocent community. So Rick kind of ruined that for them, but I'm all for it. Rick is a guy that you kind of root for in this series. So, yeah. On rejoining Glenn and Michonne nearby, Merle's past interactions antagonize the group, particularly when he reveals that he had brought Michonne and Andrea there. Everyone was like, oh my goodness, Andrea was there? Oh my goodness, Glenn and Maggie was there? It created a lot of confusion, and they were very split, They were pretty peaceful before. I think Merle is just a dividing character. He's a very polarizing character to the group. He doesn't necessarily agree with anything that this group believes in. He causes problems, and they cannot have him in this group, especially with the inclusion of the other people that he hasn't even met yet, like Herschel. He didn't even meet Carl. Well, I guess he did, but not like they. Well, actually, they were in the same group. I'm stupid. Never mind. Let's move on. Rick forbids Merle from returning with him to the prison, and Daryl refuses to leave his brother's side, and they set off on their own. Now, I definitely respect Daryl for that. I mean, regardless of how his brother acts, what his brother believes in and stuff, Daryl will never leave his side, and they kind of go off into the sunset together, and they're going to die together. So that's kind of a beautiful part. I mean, you would think that watching this, you'd be like, what the hell, Daryl, stay with the group. But I was like, no, I think this was meant to be. They met together. They kind of had to do this. As the others return to the prison, Rick tells Michonne that she will also have to leave once her injuries are treated. It's too many things are going on here for them to keep any more survivors, and stuff is just piling on for Rick as a leader at this point. So he doesn't want to have all of these burdens to take care of and to keep in check and stuff. It's not really that he's not manly enough, and he doesn't have he has too much pride or anything, but it is what it is. Glenn accosts Rick for the failure of their mission, not only failing to bring back Daryl, but forgoing the opportunity to assassinate the governor. They should have killed this man and got the authority out of the way for them, because once the governor gets killed, those people are probably going to go apeshit, kill each other, and it would be something that Rick's group wouldn't have to worry about. And obviously, Glenn liked Daryl. A lot of people liked Daryl, so that kind of sucks for them. In Woodbury, the recent events have caused a number of residents to demand they be allowed to leave Woodbury, but the governor refuses to listen, bitter over Rick's attacks. He is just so damn salty up to this point. And yeah, they want to leave. They're like, I don't want to be a part of this. You're not doing anything to help us. We just got ambushed. And the very second they don't feel safe, they want to leave, which is it makes sense, but at the same time, the innocence of this group just taking over. When a few walkers manage to enter Woodbury by the breach Rick's group used, the governor only exits his home to finish the walkers and euthanize a resident, then retreats back to his home. So he's just taking no responsibility. And I understand, at some point these people are going to have to fend for themselves, like when the governor and if the governor dies during this apocalypse, which I'm assuming this apocalypse will go on for eternity, which is why this show is 11 seasons. That he needs to set these people loose and let them figure things out for themselves. Andrea tries to coax the governor to drop the matter, but learns from him he was aware of her friends at the prison and did not tell her, not believing that she supports Woodbury fully. She just wants to be with the governor, sees a romantic relationship, and just wants a safe haven. Later, Milton and Andrea speak inspirational words to the Woodbury residents about rebuilding, preserving, winning over the crowd, and diffusing the internal strife. So pretty much, Andrea is taking over as the governor of Woodbury, while the governor is just letting them fend for themselves, which is cool of Andrea to do that. It does a lot for her character development, and it's kind of a beautiful thing to see. Meanwhile, at the prison, Herschel, Beth, and Axel visit Tyrese, Sasha, Alan, and Ben, the last survivors of a larger group that recently found their way into the prison. Of course, we know this from the previous episode. There's nothing new there. Yeah. Carl has kept them locked in a different cell block, unsure of their loyalty, and waiting for Rick to return to make a decision about whether they can stay. I mean, obviously, Rick is like the ultimatum for this group. He makes all the decisions, so... yeah. Ben and Alan discuss a plan to overpower their captors, but Tyrese and Sasha refuse to allow this to happen, still hoping for the best and still hoping to be safely kept in this prison. They don't want to cause any war or anything, which is how I would honestly take this, or how I would handle it. It's like, it's a bunch of walkers against very few survivors, so you kind of have to work together. I mean, there's been a lot of civil war going on, and we don't need more of it. Rick's group returns, and Carol is dismayed to see Daryl is not with them, but understands why he would stay with Merle. So obviously they've been kind of forming a relationship, her and Daryl. So she's kind of distraught at first, but she understands. Herschel tends to the wounded, while Rick goes to talk to Tyrese's group and kind of handle them and kind of find what their fate is right now. Tyrese and Sasha plead with Rick to allow them to stay, but Rick is unwilling to give them a chance. He doesn't need any more people. He's been crossed by so many people during this apocalypse that he is just not willing. So Herschel speaks to Rick and has appeared to convince him to allow the newcomers to stay, when suddenly Rick has a vision of his dead wife Lori and madly yells out, "Get out and I can't help you." So he kind of goes off the fucking deep end like he's been doing the last couple of episodes here, and it's just not going well for him. Everyone is frightened by this outburst, and Glenn quickly escorts Tyrese's group out of the prison before the situation escalates further, and Rick just takes his anger out on this group. And they're very understanding. They're like, look, this guy's going through hard times. We just need to get out of your guys' hair. The episode received mixed reviews from critics. A B rating on the AV Club. The episode feels like it's shuffling folks around so it can get to the next big step in the season's arc. And while you kind of wanted it to do so with a little more grace or character, those make or break stakes remain. 7.7 out of 10 on IGN. Glenn and Carl's character growth was great, but Andrea and the residents of Woodbury acting and what they did was kind of faulty. What a hot, steaming mess of mind-numbing numbitude this episode was. No, check that. It wasn't boring, it was offensive, is what some people say. The show still runs into problems when the characters talk too much. Every new character is basically a walking meat bag waiting to be chomped or sliced. Walking Dead reminds you of Battlestar Galactica, and it doesn't benefit from the comparison. While the characters on BSG decided to keep moving around, the characters on The Walking Dead appear stuck in their tracks, reliving the same traumas over and over. And it's kind of just this cycle, which is why the show got kind of repetitive after a while. Just this cycle of new characters being introduced and Rick literally taking the chess pieces and moving them wherever the fuck he wants to. Will Andrea fall for next season's villain too? Lori was not a good character. The show killed her off. That was wise. The show has now brought her back in ghost form twice. That is not wise. So that's kind of what people are thinking of the episode. And I don't think it's a great episode, but I don't really see any faults just yet. It is getting kind of repetitive, but up to this point, I'm still kind of enjoying it. I'm still kind of enthused. Some characters have distinct properties, but it's not really saying much. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, has been GZTV of talking about your favorite TV shows. We're rewatching all of the I'm watching all of it. Okay, we might not be done till like next year, but I'm still rewatching all of it. We're gonna talk about the Dahmer documentary. I watched episode 4 last night. And then we will be doing a new Music Friday stream, continuing on listening to that music. So, have a good rest of